Hello, welcome to the Bible Takeaway, where you can expect to snack on the who, what and when of a particular Bible filling. For dessert, you have an option of a few quiz questions to help your digestion of the content. This is a Bible summary of 1 Kings. The reign of Solomon is dealt with in 1 Kings chapters 3 to 11. This is followed by the kings of Judah and Israel from the beginning of the divided monarchy around 930 BC. What to expect in 1 Kings? It's the story of King Solomon's rule over Israel. It also features the kings that follow after Israel and Judah divide. The prophet Elijah makes his appearance towards the end. The key people in 1 Kings are Solomon, Jeroboam, Elijah, Ahab, and Jezebel. For a key passage, try 1 Kings chapter 18, verses 36 to 39. At the time of sacrifice, the prophet Elijah stepped forward and prayed, "Lord, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, let it be known today that you are God in Israel, and that I am your servant, and have done all these things at your command. Answer me, Lord, answer me, so these people will know that you, Lord, are God, and that you are turning their hearts back again." Then the fire of the Lord fell and burned up the sacrifice, the wood, the stones, and the soil, and also licked up the water in the trench. When all the people saw this, they fell prostrate and cried, "The Lord, He is God! The Lord, He is God!" As a summary, in chapter 1, David is very old. His son Adonijah exalts himself as king. When David hears, he tells Zadok and Nathan to appoint Solomon as king. In chapter 3, Solomon marries Pharaoh's daughter. He asks the Lord for discernment. 2 women come before him, and he judges between them wisely. In chapter 6, Solomon builds the temple. The Lord says, "If you walk in my ways, I will dwell with Israel." Solomon overlays the temple with gold. In chapter 11, Solomon has many wives and turns to other gods. Ahijah tells Jeroboam that the Lord will give him 10 of the tribes. Solomon dies. In chapter 12, Rehoboam refuses to reduce the labour demands on Israel. So all Israel except Judah makes Jeroboam king. Jeroboam makes golden calves. In chapter 16, Elah rules Israel and does evil. Zimri kills Elah, but Israel makes Omri king. Omri does evil. Ahab rules and begins to worship Baal. In chapter 18, Elijah goes to Ahab and challenges the prophets of Baal. Baal gives no answer, but the Lord answers Elijah with fire. Then rain falls. In chapter 21, Jezebel has Naboth killed because he will not sell his vineyard to Ahab. Elijah says to Ahab, "Dogs will lick up your blood and eat Jezebel." So what's the takeaway from 1 Kings? We need God's wisdom to know how to use whatever power we have. If we don't keep seeking God, we will end up making a huge mess. And now a quick quiz. Question 1. Who tried to take the throne after David? Question 2. Did the prophet Nathan support Solomon's appointment as king? Question 3. Who did Solomon marry? And question 4. True or false? The temple was covered with silver. Question 5. Which tribe did not support Jeroboam as king? Question 6. Which king started Baal worship? Question 7. Who annoyed Ahab by not selling land that would extend his garden? And question 8. What happened after Jezebel was killed? And now the answers. Question 1. Adonijah tried to become king. And Nathan did support Solomon to become king. Solomon married Pharaoh's daughter. And question 4, it was false. The temple was actually covered in gold. Answer 5. Judah did not support Jeroboam. And it was Ahab that started worshipping Baal. Answer 7. It was Naboth that fatally annoyed Ahab. And the last question, Jezebel was eaten by stray dogs after being thrown out of a window. And there you go. If you have a different takeaway or a personal favourite key passage, please feel free to leave a comment below. Until next time, goodbye and God bless.